Hello, Gins. It's me, Nanigans, coming to you with the basics of speed creeping in a Pokemon draft format. Here I made some notes on just why speed creeping is important, or speed in general, the stat is important. Speed is often considered the most important stat in competitive play as it decides the turn order when priority moves or abilities aren't involved. So basically, it's just deciding the turn order, which is important. Because it decides the course of events that happens in a given turn. So if I'm faster than you, and if I have a move that can kill you, and you have a move that can kill me, it doesn't matter if you have a move that can kill me because I'm going first, essentially. That's the most basic way to explain the speed stat, essentially. When drafting, it's important to make sure that you have a well-rounded speed tiers, so you can play more unpredictably and have more speed control. This is basically so you have, in the prep phase of your matches, you have more maneuverability and more customization of what you want to be doing, while also making yourself harder to prep for your opponent. In drafting, prepping is half of the battle, and you should always start with speed stat, and why I'll get into that a little bit later in the video. In preparation for a draft format match, you always know your opponent's exact speed tiers, and you should try to beat them in preparation. This is what speed creeping is, essentially. You will always know what your opponent is capable of doing, essentially, with their speed. So you can always try to predict around that. Slow Pokemon are just as important as fast Pokemon, in my opinion. Having a Pokemon with 30 speed means you will always have the slowest Pokemon in a battle, essentially, which is just super helpful sometimes. Other people might disagree with me on that, but I think slow Pokemon are really good, for certain reasons. You don't need the fastest or the slowest Pokemon in a given format, but you do need variety. It's very good to have like a 100 speed Pokemon and a 50 speed Pokemon, for example. It's not all good to have 6 Pokemon in the 80 speed stat range, with your slowest Pokemon being 50 and your fastest Pokemon being 95. This is awful variety. You want something much better than this. For example, this team has 3 Pokemon plus 100, so they will always be outspeeding my fastest Pokemon, essentially, if they're playing right or prepping correctly. And they have a Pokemon that can speed time my fastest Pokemon. So regardless of what the Pokemon are, we're just looking at the speed stat. And then their 5th fastest Pokemon is faster than my 2nd fastest Pokemon. And if it's EV'd correctly, it beats all of these in a speed tie or a speed war. He also is able to have the slowest Pokemon, essentially, of this battle, knowing that he'll always go last as well if he's on the field. So these speed tiers just completely destroy these ones, for example. Whereas in this team, these speed tiers are more well-rounded. We have 2 Pokemon above 100. We have 3 in the 90 range, but all aren't 90 exactly. We have 2 65s, and then we have 3 Mons below 60. So this is a much more rounded team. And over here is an equally very well-rounded team, arguably even more well-rounded. Having 4 Pokemon under 45 is really, really great. Having a good 69 speed stat is always nice. 80 is good. And then 3 Pokemon plus 110 is insane. Plus you have abilities to account for, like Unburden, for example. So this is more like a 230 speed stat, which is insane. But that's just a quick review or quick little synopsis of what good examples and bad examples are. Speed creeping is adjusting your stats and EVs to outspeed your opponent's Pokemon just enough to outspeed it by 1 point. So EVs are not wasted and can be used in other stats such as HP. I will pull up an example of this real quick. We'll get to these Salazzles later. So an uninvested speed stat for Palpitoad is 69, right? So Gourgeist Large is also uninvested 69. So if we just give it 1 speed point to make it speed stat 175, I know that I'll always be able to outspeed the Palpitoad, and I'm not really wasting much anywhere else. So it doesn't really cost me anything to do that, which means I can always beat this Palpitoad in a 1v1. But there's no reason to go to give myself even more speed than the 69, because I'm not going to outspeed this Mandibuzz, and even if I do, I don't beat it in a 1v1. So only outspeed, speed creep what you need to outspeed. I know Gourgeist says it's 54 here, but Gourgeist has 4 forms, so just bear with me. There is counterplay to speed, there is counterplay to fast Pokemon in general. There are priority moves like Aqua Jet or Extreme Speed, which will always move first. There are priority abilities like Prankster or Gale Wings that will always move first. Speed voice boosting items like Choice Scarf and Salac Berry boost your speed, given certain requirements, obviously, Salac Berry. Which could sometimes change the favor of who is the fastest Pokemon in a battle. Sticky Webs, the hazard, lowers speed 1 stage whenever a Pokemon switches into it, just like Stealth Rocks or Spikes, which can be very, very important for making sure that you're the fastest Pokemon in a battle. Sometimes you might not have an answer for a Pokemon's speed stat, so you can just paralyze it. And if that Pokemon, the only thing they've got going for it is their speed stat, paralyzing it can just completely neuter the Pokemon, essentially. Trick Room makes the slower Pokemon go first. A great example of this is just Slowbro. Since he's 60 speed, or he's 30 speed, he suddenly becomes 120 in Trick Room, essentially. Please note, these are not all the counters in the game, and these counters won't always work because Pokemon is Pokemon, and at the end of the day, it's all based on how you utilize your tools in preparation and how well your luck works out in the game. Going back to this, I just wanted to go to some examples. So speed creeping, here is what a max speed Salazzle looks like. It has 252, it's timid in nature to be as physically fast as possible. But do I need it to be fast as possible? If it's as fast as possible, great. But this is wasted. In this matchup particularly, I know Scarf Salazzle outspeeds everything, which is awesome, except for Unburden Hawlucha. So my goal with this Salazzle is just to outspeed Tapu Koko and kill it with a Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave. So we can put this handy dandy website has choicescarf.com. It allows you to put the speed to beat. So we have 130, and which is the Tapu Koko speed, positive nature. And then we have my speed, which is Salazzle's 117, and then I push go, and it'll tell me what nature and what speed stat I need, or what speed EVs I need to beat it. So we have 2 different options. We can go for a neutral speed stat, which means I'd have to invest more EVs into it, or we can go for positive nature, which means I have to invest less speed, but I lose my positive attacking nature, essentially. So I went ahead and built a Salazzle with positive attack and positive speed, just to show you the difference between the two. With positive attack, I still have to run so much speed stat, and what is this attack going for, really? If I calc this, for example... Oh, here's a Mandibuzz calc, by the way. Freeze frame this, I guess, if you really want to. So we can go to Tapu Koko, and we can see Sludge Bomb kills not invested. So we don't even really need this modest nature at all. And we might need this HP, you know? So we can go back to this stat and say, okay, on our Choice Scarf website, it says 108 speed stat. And there's no problem with that. Like, I outspeed the Coco, I kill it with this amount of attack, and this amount of HP could just basically be insurance at that point. So we can go and just calc things basically if we felt like it, which I'm not going to do right now. But here's an example in the last battle that I've already showed off on this channel. This Togedemaru dies to Future Sight, and then the exact scenario I prepped for essentially was for this Salazzle to be out in front of this Tapu Koko. The only thing that was unaccounted for was rocks damage, which is kind of unfortunate, but what can you do? So this Salazzle just starts pushing Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave because it's the most damaging poison move it had. And right here we see why speed creeping was important, because now I outspeed the Tapu Koko, but because I HP invested, I didn't die to this Mandibuzz at 76%. And the reason why that's important is because if Mandibuzz is here with max attack and Brave Bird, it will kill me if it's max attack. Or it has a very good chance to kill me. Much more likely than it would have been if I wasn't max HP'd or some sort of HP investment. So if I have 0 HP investment, this Brave Bird does kill me at 75% health essentially. So that HP investment was basically game saving for me and made all the difference in the world in this one match. So then it dies to recoil damage, and then if this wasn't a Scarfed Salazzle, this Koko would kill me with whatever move it wanted. But because I outspeed it with Sludge Wave, I'm able to win the battle in this one clutch moment essentially. But this is all because I prepped for a scenario like this to happen. So that's why speed creeping is so important, and investing into HP is incredibly important as well. In my personal opinion, the HP stat is the second most important stat in the game, which you could argue that for sure. All these stats are about equal in importance. Debatably, I don't know. But speed is for sure the most important stat because it decides who goes first. And if Tapu Koko went first in that scenario, I lost that battle. So I think I covered everything that I would like to. This website is choicescarf.com. I'll probably link it in the description. Here's Cerebi with all the Pokemon organized by speed stat in case you want to check that out. Not every single one is allowed in our current draft format, so take that for what you will. You're going to have to nitpick a little bit. But I've used this website more than once just to get a general idea of how I want to draft a team for speed stats and stuff. Very, very helpful. As always, I have this prep doc that I use every single match, which is incredibly helpful. And then this is just a replay. So yeah, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer any. I love talking about Pokemon. I'm pretty okay at it. Y'all have a great day, and stay warm, I guess.